Hello. Okay, so this video is going to be kind of strange. I'm filming the two parts of this on 2 different days, and the second part I've actually already filmed. I wanted to do a January reading recap and a February TBR video. So in the first half, I'm going to be going over everything that I read in January, and in the second half, I'm going to be letting a TBR jar pick out my reads for February. And rather than having these be 2 separate videos, they both fall in line with like the same thing, so I'm just gonna smush them together and let me know if you like it this way. I'm just gonna get right into it. The first 2 books I have to talk about I don't physically have with me because I'm letting a friend borrow them. But for the whole month of January, I keep looking down, I'm looking at my reading journal. I read 8 books, which is insane to me because I'm a slow reader. Now this is with having like a few reading challenges, which like makes me read more, and I'm unemployed. Well, I'm a freelancer, so I stay home and I don't have like a whole bunch to do, so I have a lot more free time than the average working person or like working mom or anything like that. The first one is this one here, Love of My Life. I got this book in a blind date with a book box, and I was like, whatever, like the cover didn't look super exciting, but it was pretty short, so I believe I read it during a 24-hour readathon, and because it was on the shorter side, I'm like, yes, let's do this so it can like help push me like to get a book done. I am so glad I did because, I mean, I'd never heard of it. It didn't look fun, like it didn't grab my attention visually, but that's me judging a book by the cover, and we all know we're not supposed to do that. So I ended up rating it 4 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just very, I want to say mystery. Yeah, it was mystery. It wasn't mystery thriller. It was mystery because it wasn't like thrilling, like in the kind of like kind of way, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? It was sad. I do think if you're someone with children, it would be a lot harder on you to read it, and like, I don't know, it was still fascinating. I loved it. We had a glimpse into some psychosis, and I love psychological stuff, so like that was fun to read. It's a terrible situation, fun to read. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some trigger things in there, but not like too much in my opinion. It's like a second chance romance is what I would say. Second chance romance on top of it being a mystery, and there were twists and turns I didn't expect. I'm not gonna ramble too much about it, but I do really like it, and I highly recommend it to you if you like mystery kind of things. So the second book is this one here, The Silent Patient. I'm sure we've all heard of The Silent Patient because it was like pretty big on TikTok, and I first saw it in store and was like, ooh, that looks kind of interesting just by the cover, and then later on I ended up seeing it on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely need to read that. It was a 5-star read for me. I was obsessed the entire time. It was definitely a mystery thriller and a psychological thriller, which I'm, as I just said, obsessed with psychological stuff. Even if it's not thriller, just psychology in general. I almost went into that as a career. I wish I did, hindsight, but that kind of stuff fascinates me. So if you are like that too, then this is an excellent read. It very twisty turny, and I did not expect the ending. It was so freaking good. It was so good. I don't want to say too much, but if you don't know anything about it, it's about the very beginning. This woman shoots her husband in the face like 5 times and then doesn't say another word for like 10 years. I think we then go like 10 years later. We go back and forth between current and past. It's like the main thing that's happening now is like 10 years later, and it's a psychiatrist. It's a whatever. I'm saying these words too much. The doctor who deals with the crazy people, he wants a chance to try to get her to talk and try to figure out, why did you shoot your husband out of nowhere and then not say another word? And so it's just so freaking good. It's like, why did she do it? Did she even do it? All these different things, just chef's kiss. Okay. Third book, A Court of Frost and Starlight. So if you don't know anything about the ACOTAR series, 1, what rock have you been living under? Because I will come take it off of you. 2, this is the novella / 4th book of the ACOTAR series, and I definitely need to do a reread of the book before this because I tried to listen to it on audiobook as well as read it. And I'm still on the newer side of my reading journey. And so I didn't realize, which I realize now, I am not an audiobook girly. I can't focus. Like if I tune out for 1 second, it's over. Like I've missed so much. And so because of that, I don't think I got the full effect of this A Court of Wings and Ruin. I did not get a big enough effect because I rated that thing 3 stars and I know it's more than a 3-star read. So I need to reread it probably before I read the last book. But anyways, I read this. It's just a little novella. It's like a Christmassy, wintry kind of book. And yeah, it was good. I mean, it was kind of pointless, but for what it was, novellas are kind of like that. They're little fillers. So I rated this 3 stars just because it is what it is. You can't expect too much from a novella, and this was just kind of like a fluffer piece. So 3 stars. I don't have much to say about it because it's in a series. So yeah. Next up, I finally read Lights Out. Oh my gosh. 5 stars. 5 freaking stars. This was so good. There's a second book coming out. I don't remember when, sometime this year. I've got it on pre-order. It's coming, I think June or July or something like that. Oh my gosh, this was so good. It's a dark romance if you don't know anything about it. Again, what rock are you living under? This is a big TikTok book talk book. It is dark romance, stalker, let's see everything I wrote. Stalker, touch her and die, morally gray, MMC, and kinky. Those would be what I would consider the tropes. Definitely some trigger warnings at the beginning, which if you're like me, here's your sign to subscribe if you relate to this. When you see a list of trigger warnings that take up an entire page, you're immediately like, okay, I don't care anything else, I'm reading the book. This has quite a few trigger warnings. I'm not gonna read them out loud, I don't want my video to get in trouble, but there's several, all right, several. It's also funny. I think it's comical. We go back and forth between her POV and the main character's POV, which I love when we switch up the POVs. It's just so much fun kind of seeing inside both of their heads. If you don't know anything about this, it's basically about this girl. She has a mask kink, so the mask, and she follows some people on TikTok who do thirst trap videos in masks, and there's one specific guy that she's like obsessed with, and it turns out he is her ex hookup's roommate. And so he's like this incredible genius hacker guy. He finds her and then blah, 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 stalker, all that kind of stuff. But then we run into something where there's another threat and it's like, okay, are they going to work together with this other threat? Is it going to be a problem? Stuff like that. So this is so good. It is very, very spicy. I give it a 4 chili peppers on the spice scale. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Next book, I finally started the Shatter Me series. Oh my gosh, I've been wanting to read this series for so long, and purely because of the covers. The beautiful eyes on the covers of this series is the only reason I wanted to read it. I knew absolutely nothing else about it. Even just going into it, I read nothing except the whole my touch is lethal, my touch is power that's at the top. And even then I'm like, I don't know what the heck that means, but let's get into it. I gave this a 4.5 star. I think I can be a little too lenient with my rating sometimes. So the reason I didn't give this a 5 star is because while I'm like, this is so good, it wasn't quite as top tier as some of the other 5-star books I have. So I gave it a 4.5 star, but I really, really enjoyed it. It is a YA. Okay, everyone has different opinions on what genres are. You could say this is a YA romantasy purely because like the fantasy aspect is like it's not realistic, but it's more so YA sci-fi with some romance in it. Like it's not heavy on the romance, but it is YA. That's the main thing to come out of this in my opinion. This first book at least, I know a lot of stuff's gonna happen in future books. This is purely on this first book. I would say it's a friends to lovers-ish kind of thing. And magic and dystopian. I love dystopian worlds, like in TV shows and movies and stuff. I've never read one before, so this was... They aren't related at all, so I really don't know where this came from in my mind, but do you remember the show Revolution? I'll put a little picture of it up here. It was one that like got canceled before it actually finished, so it was like really disappointing. It just stopped. It was such a good show. Something about this, I think it's just the dystopian feel and like the ruler, like the people who are in charge, that kind of stuff. Something about it gave me Revolution vibes. Other than that, there's nothing similar about them, but it just did. So Basically, it's this girl who has the ability, because she touches somebody and there's skin to skin contact, they die. Don't know why, don't know how, don't know anything like that. We're just kind of trying to figure that out. And there's a lot of people after her, obviously. This is written in her POV, but it's kind of like her POV diary form. So like she's kind of crazy from being locked up and stuff. And so there's times where like this, she scratches through words. And I freaking love it. She'll say things like 5 times in a row, and then she'll say something and cross it off and say something else. So it's like, you see what she's really thinking, but she's like, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. Let me scratch through that. I love it. And she's very like poetic, and just the way she says some things, I don't know, I love it. It's different, so you may not like that. Okay, so it was a kiss scene, right? And rather than saying, he kissed me, this is gonna be so stupid. He kissed me like deep and hard. Whatever. She said he kissed me like I was oxygen and he needed to breathe. Like the just poeticness in this book, I loved it. I highly recommend this. I cannot wait to get to the next book. Stay tuned for that. Okay, next book. I finally read Fourth Wing. Oh my stars. Oh my gosh, this amazing. 5-star read, 6-star read. This was just phenomenal. What took me so long to read it? I don't know. I was like, okay, I want to read Onyx Storm because there's just so many good things about this. So I want to read that, so I need to start reading this. But I was so intimidated to read this because of how hyped it is. And I've seen so many people say it's overhyped or whatever. And then it just being a whole new fantasy world to get into, I was so intimidated to read this. But oh my gosh, don't hate me if you are an ACOTAR stan. I like this so far better than ACOTAR. I know, it's absolutely crazy, but I am so obsessed. I am currently reading Iron Flame. Oh, this is just, there aren't words. If you don't know anything about this, it's an academy for dragon riders, and you have to make it through these different kind of like trials, tests, and you either succeed or you die. So deadly tests, and you're trying to go and end up getting a dragon you're bonded to and stuff. And we're following a girl who wanted to be an academic, but she was forced into being a writer. So this is not her thing. She's not built for this. It's just not her vibe. And we got Shadow Daddy, Xaden. I get it now. Like I've seen so many stuff about Xaden this, Xaden that. I'm like, whatever. I get it now. We've got enemies to lovers, forced proximity, forbidden love, all the amazing tropes in this beautiful book. I literally have nothing else to say about it. I'm just, it's amazing. Ugh. All right, the next book I read is this one right here, Local Woman Missing. This was another blind date with a book. Again, I knew nothing about it when I saw it. I'm like, I do actually like the cover. Like it's a nice looking book. And I got a comment on my video of opening this blind date with a book box on TikTok. They said, basically, I couldn't get into it. Let me know how you like it. And I'm like, oh, great. So I know nothing about it. And the first thing I hear is that it wasn't good, or at least they couldn't get into it. So I was a little nervous, but I was like, I'm gonna read it. 4.5 stars. I loved it. It is a mystery thriller as well. Basically following kind of a string of missing women. You have like 3 to 4, I think, POVs, which is crazy. And you're jumping back and forth between the original missing person, which was 11 years ago, and then current. And you're trying to see, are they connected? How are they connected? Who done it? You know, all that kind of stuff. And it takes you on quite the roller coaster because I thought I knew, but of course when I thought I knew, I was only like this far, so it's like, you know, you're wrong if you guess it halfway through the book. So I don't know, I loved it, and I just did not expect the twist, and I don't think it's possible to predict the twist. It's so good. I highly recommend if you like mystery thrillers. Okay, the last book I read in January is this beauty right here, The Stars Are Dying. I literally bought this book because of the sprayed edges. Can you blame me? I knew nothing about it. I knew it was fantasy, but that's pretty much it. And I actually bought this for myself when my book talk account reached 1,000 followers. This was my little gift to myself. It's been on the shelf for a minute. I rated this 4 stars. I was between 3.5 and 4 stars. And so I was like, ideally like 3.75, but I don't rate in that small of increments. So I was being nice and I gave it 4 stars. I almost DNF'd this book. The prologue, which I forgot. I want to go back and reread the prologue. It's ugh. I hate when books and I hate when movies or TV shows, whatever, do this too. When it's kind of like an action-y movie and they start off in the middle of something and like there's these important people, whether they're bad guys or good guys, I don't know, but there's like these important people in a room talking about something and you're just like, huh? Who's that? Who's that? What did you say? What? That's how I felt during the prologue. And I don't like things like that because I'm not going to remember what happened because none of it made any sense to me. So that right there upset me, made me mad. And then I was in the first chapter or two and it was still just like, what on earth is going on? I feel like we're just jumping into something with like nothing. Like I know nothing. Certain things were written kind of weird and I was like, what the heck is happening? I almost DNF'd it, but I was like, no, it's beautiful. I need to give it a chance. And I'm so glad I did because I'd say definitely the second half is better, but like the last third of the book is where it really picks up and I was having a good time. It's like a 3 on the spicy scale and it was just, I literally had moments where I was kicking my feet and giggling. That's why I was struggling between a 3.5 and a 4 star because like I hated the beginning, but it got to where I really enjoyed it, which is why I was going to lean towards 4 star if you can just get past the beginning. And there is a twist because this is actually part of a trilogy and the other ones aren't out yet. So it's frustrating but also exciting. I am glad I read this. I would recommend it, but at the same time I'm also like, there are plenty of other books and you're not like missing out too bad if you don't read it, but I do think it was worth the read once I got towards the end. Yeah, I mean, and it's gorgeous, like, oh, book trophy, whether you read it or not, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go, for me, back in time and we're gonna have the TBR jar pick our February read. But let me know real quick right now, go in the comments and let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought, because the opinions on books vary so much. It's actually quite interesting to hear other people's opinions. So yeah. Hi, I am so excited. We're going to be, for the first time ever on my channel and in my life, going to be using the TBR jar to pick our TBR for the month. Let's use this jar. I put up a TikTok and YouTube short and all that of me making this TBR jar. If you want to check it out, it's on the channel, but like, it's cute. Oh, the stickers are coming off. I just put a bunch of bookish stickers on here, made it look super fuster clucky. Okay. And I hate that you can't see all my books right now. There's a whole row down here and whatever, it's fine. I've been dying to do this. First prompt. I told myself, literally, when I was thinking about filming this earlier this morning, I'm like, I swear I'm gonna get this prompt and I don't want it. Why did I put it in here? I don't know, but flippin' self-help. Why did I put that in there? I do have a few self-help books, but like, why did I do this to myself? Why am I trying to improve myself? Okay, it turns out I only have 2 right now. I'm sorry I'm late. I didn't want to come. And get your shit together. Now, I've already started reading this one. So I could do this one or I could read this one. Like, they're not huge or anything. I don't know. Oh my gosh, okay. Ugh. Honestly, I'm gonna do this one because I've already started it. I'm that far into it, so we're gonna do this one. Loopholes. Also, I'm going to be picking 10 books. I don't think I'm going to get to read all 10, but I want to do 10 so that I have a little bit more flexibility because I'm learning I am a mood reader, and so I want more options. So like if I'm down to the last book and I'm just like, I don't want to read that, I want to try really hard to stick to my TBR. So it'd be nice if like the last book for the month I have like 3 options, you know, something like that. 1 down. 3-word title. I have too many to choose from. Okay, does the count? I think it counts. The Lovely Bones, Snow Like Ashes. This is a book I've had for a long time, and this back in the day I was like, ew, I don't like the cover being on. I like how it looks like this. Stupid me. This is Stephen King, Bag of Bones. It's a thick book. The last one, it is beautiful, and that's exciting. Okay, so I've got 4 options. How the heck am I supposed to choose between the 4? I'm not gonna lie. I want to read this one. Like, duh. Okay. All right. Number 3. Pink cover. So let's hope I have a pink cover somewhere. I don't know if I do. Maybe we can just do like pink on the cover. Okay, I think that's gonna be this one. It's more black, but there is plenty of pink on the cover. There's someone inside your house. Number 4, flowers on the cover. I honestly don't know if I have one with flowers on the cover either. Okay, this has a flower on the cover. It is smushed, but that's fine. That counts. This has a flower on the cover. Flowers on the cover. Wow, I didn't expect to have so many flowers on the cover. Flowers on the cover. There's a flower on the cover. Oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. Flowers on the cover. All right, this isn't good. There's too many options. Flowers on the cover. Okay, we've got several options for flowers on the cover. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep going in case there's another prompt that matches one of these like really well, to see if I can narrow down this list, because this is insane. Listen for number 5 now. Ooh, a 5-star prediction. So I need to try to find one that I expect to be 5 stars. That's scary. Okay. Wait, because this is actually scary. Like, I don't know. So, like, I love, like, thriller, mystery, psychological mystery, horror books. So, it'd be easier for me to give one of those a 5-star read. I'm gonna do this one, The Fear. I think this might be a 5-star. Okay, now we're on to number 6. People on the cover. Okay, I'm not sure if I have any people on the cover, but let's see. Just kidding. I already have one. People on the cover. I'm gonna count this. People on the cover. So I didn't say if it had to be a cartoon or not. This is one, it's old, but I want to do a reread because there's a whole 4 books to this, and I only thought there were 2 back in high school when I was reading this. But so this is one I want to do a reread of. People on the cover. People on the cover. Okay, this one I feel like is going to be easy pick. So this one I'm not looking forward to reading. I got it in a blind date with the book box, and I'm not excited to read it, but we'll put this one back for now. This one, honestly, I'm not in the mood for a reread. I have so many ones that I want to get through that not in the mood. This one, look how flipping massive this is. No, ma'am. Not today. Okay, that leaves us with these 2. Bride and One of Us is Lying. I want to read both so bad. But I think I'm going to do One of Us is Lying. Okay, now looking for number 7. Ugly cover. That shouldn't be too hard. Covers, I think, are ugly. Not gonna lie, this Twisted Love, the Twisted series, I think the covers are ugly. They're just so boring. This is one I've been wanting to get into, so this is good. That's honestly the only one I think is an ugly cover too, so. Twisted Love, I finally get to start this series, yay! All right, going for number 8. Ooh, a 2-word title. I'm gonna have way too many options with this one. This one, this one, this one, this one. Oh my gosh, there's too many. I'm not gonna pull them all. That's ridiculous. There are way too many. I won't choose this one because I already have a book from here that I'm gonna put back. Oh, I know one I want to do, but I do not physically have it with me. But I'm planning on getting it soon. So you know what? We're gonna do that one. It's the next in the Shatter series. I can't remember the name of the second one. It's a little novella, but I'll put it up here. I'm gonna order this one. That will be for the 2-word title, for sure. Number 9. I only have 2 more. A rom-com. Not gonna lie, I don't think I have a rom-com. Mine are all pretty dark. So why did I write down rom-com? I don't know. That's gonna be more for like Christmas books. So I'm gonna put this back. That ain't happening. A non-fantasy fiction. This one is a non-fantasy fiction, and I've been dying to read it. So we're gonna have The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden be our non-fantasy fiction one. Last one, come on. A blind date with a book. Okay, one that I got from blind date with a book. Okay, I'm gonna pick the shorter of the ones that I have just cause it's this one called The Turn of the Key. I know nothing about it, but we will find out. Now let me finally pick one of these with the flippin' flower on it. So many options. I think I'm gonna pick up Powerless. It's been on my list for a while. It's one of the first ones I remember seeing a bunch when I joined Book Talk, so we'll go with this one. Okay, so the books I got, let's go through them real quickly. So the one that's not here, this one, whatever the name of it is basically just, it's the little novella between the first and second book, so it's like book 1.5 of the Shatter Me series. There's not much to go into with that one. It's just, if you know anything about Shatter Me, Next, I'm going to pick up this one is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. And it's apparently a Netflix film. Oh my gosh, I need to find what it is after I read this because this is right up my alley. Apparently this girl moves in with her grandmother and then kids at her high school start dying off one by one and it's getting like worse and worse. Like the way they're dying is getting worse and worse. And because it's happening in her high school, it's like, is she gonna be next? Is she gonna be able to survive it? Oh my gosh, I can't wait. And just the title, There's Someone Inside Your House. So, oh my gosh, for sure. I'm so excited. Okay, next, Twisted Love by Anna Wang. I don't remember how they say it. I don't know the details of this one. It's something like there's a guy and a girl. He's the best friend of her brother. She's his best friend's sister, you know, that whole thing. He says he hates her almost as much as he wants her. So I don't know much about this, but it's very popular and it's apparently going to become a Hulu series, I believe I heard. So I've wanted to get into this and read it ASAP so that I can watch the show when it comes out. I'm excited about this. Okay, and then Powerless. I'm sure you've heard of it, but if not, it is basically this world where there are, I want to say ordinaries and they don't have magic. And then there's the elite who have magic and the ordinaries are like not allowed, blah, blah, blah. He is a hunter, I believe, and she's an ordinary. And she's, I think, like helping him hunt because she's pretending not to be an ordinary. So I'm excited about that. That's fun. The next, this one's gonna flipping kill me. There's not much left and it has helped me. Like when I started reading it, what I have read so far, I did like, but not when I want to read all these other books. But anyways, How to Stop Worrying About What You Should Do So You Can Finish What You Need to Do and Start Doing What You Want to Do. It is very helpful, but it's a self-help book. Why did I do this to myself? The blind date with a book, Ruth Ware, The Turn of the Key. I know nothing about this. It's suspense. There's nothing to read about it, but okay, here's some quotes. Let's just say if you've got an Echo, like, you know, the Alexa, that kind of stuff, you're gonna want to unplug it as soon as you finish the book. It's apparently fast-paced. I don't know, there's not like a thing about it. Like there's no back to read. It's just quotes. So this will be fun, not knowing what you're getting into, but I love thrillers, so I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Okay, The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I am excited to get into this. I mean, I've known about this for a while and I'm just so excited to read it. Basically, this girl starts, or like she's been dating and it's all just been crap. And I think she goes online, she lives in New York, and she goes online to start dating and meets this guy and he's the perfect boyfriend. But then there's all these murders happening around and apparently the murders are of women whose boyfriend kills them. And so now she's all like, is this the guy? Like he's too perfect to not have something wrong with him. So like, is he the one and am I gonna die or what? So exciting. The last one by Rachel Howzell Hall. That's a mouthful. There are gods, there are humans, and then there's her. Thrown into a desolate land of sickness and unnatural beasts, Kai wakes in the woods with no idea who she is or how she got there. All she knows is that if she cannot reach the Sea of Devour, even this hellscape will get worse. But when she sees the village blacksmith fight invaders with unspeakable skill, she decides to accept his offer of help. Too bad he's as skilled at annoying her as he is fighting. As she searches for answers, Kai only finds more questions, especially regarding the blacksmith who can ignite her body like a flame, then douse it with ice in the next breath. And no one is what or who they appear to be in the kingdom of Vinvredith, including the man whose secrets might be as deadly as the land itself. Yep, that's all I got for you, but I'm excited. It's beautiful as well, so like. Then we've got The Fear by Natasha Preston. I'm so excited to read her books. I have 3 of them right now. Oh, and they all just sound amazing and like they're short, so I'm sure it's gonna just be like a great fast-paced book. This is the one where there's a girl who lives in this small fishing town and like all of her classmates start turning up dead and they're all dying in the way that they said they're the most scared of dying. So like, is she next? So she has to try to stop the killer. Is she gonna get killed? Blah, blah, blah. Who is the killer? That sounds so flippin' intense and I'm so excited. And then last but hopefully not least, One of Us is Lying. I am excited to read this. There's like, what, 3 or so books in this series? So I'm looking forward to it. This is just, I honestly don't even fully know what it's about. Play close attention and you might solve this. On Monday afternoon, 5 students at Bayview High walk into detention. Bronwyn, the brain, is Yale-bound and never breaks a rule. Addie, the beauty, is the picture-perfect homecoming princess. Nate, the criminal, is already on probation for dealing. Cooper, the athlete, is the all-star baseball pitcher. And Simon, the outcast, is the creator of Bayview High's notorious gossip act. Only Simon never makes it out of that classroom. Before the end of detention, Simon's dead. And according to investigators, his death isn't an accident. On Monday, he died, but on Tuesday, he planned to post juicy reveals about all 4 of his high-profile classmates, which makes all 4 of them suspects in his murder. Are they just the perfect patsies for a killer who's still on the loose? Everyone has secrets, right? What really matters is how far you would go to protect them. Ah! Yes, I love a good mystery. Ugh. So here's the TBR for the month. I am very, very excited. This is going to be such a good TBR. Let me know down in the comments what your TBR books are for February, and also if you've read any of these, because I want to know what you think for sure. Also go down to the pinned comment and leave your recommendations for other people to get and for me to get, because I can't have too many book recommendations. Okay, I just can't. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited for February and I hope you are too. Thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful day.